I think it's hard for people to comprehend that most of us have been doing something in social networking, for the past 5 years or so. And what's remarkable is that most of us came onto these social platforms, whether you're a Twitter user, a Facebook user, a LinkedIn user, a Pinterest user, an Instagram user. It doesn't matter what platform you're on. Some of you are on all of them, right? And you look at the end of your day and you go, gosh, I probably shouldn't have spent that much time on all these different platforms, right? So we're looking for ways of simplifying. But the number one reason why people come onto social platforms is because of connecting with other people. The whole intention is to connect with other people. And for the longest time, people have been asking the question, I wonder how far my reach goes when I actually interact with a platform and I start to talk to my friends or I start to interact with other people and I start sharing the concept of Facebook or Twitter. How far does that marketing reach? What is that ripple effect across the globe that's created? Well, for the first time in history, Rippln actually shows you and tracks that ripple effect. That's called your social graph. And the second thing that Rippln really is answering the question is, how big is the compensation and the commerce that goes on inside of a social platform? How vast and how wide and how large is it? And how can people participate in that commerce rather than only the founders of these companies? And so Rippln is positioned as the first company ever in history to help you, number one, track your social graph and influence across the globe, but pay you in every aspect of how you use the internet. And particularly when we're starting with mobile applications, we're starting with products and services like smartwatches and speakers and tablets, all kinds of things that are coming out. And we're starting also with immense value with coaching programs, content. We call it premium content. And one of the things about today that we got really excited about is that, and I'm going to introduce Jim and give you an idea there, but I keep losing Martin. I keep seeing him struggling to get on there. I want to let him say a couple words there. But one of the things I have to tell you is that I've never been more excited about this company and the growth of where we're going, because just a few weeks ago, we were given an insight into what's about to take place in the Rippln platform. And over a decade ago, I sat in the living room of the man that you sit over there with the orange rip. Well, that's not, well, the ripples are black, but I sat down with him and he started talking to me about a program. Now at that time, that program was called the Happy, Healthy, Wealthy Game. And he was one of the first coaches in the life coaching personal development arena that actually created a coaching program that has given people more impact across the globe. Thousands of people have participated in a gamified environment that's created more success than any single coaching program that I'm aware of. My life transformed as a result of not only participating in that program, but also coaching and teaching people that program. So I'd like Jim to say a few words, because what's about to enter the Rippln platform is probably one of the most successful personal development programs ever in history, and we're getting an opportunity to share it with everybody that's been involved with Rippln since the start and people moving forward. And we're all on fire, because I know personally, I have personal firsthand experience of knowing how big the impact is going to be, but there's nobody that understands it better than me than Jim. So I'd like to introduce my friend and co-founder of Rippln, Mr. Jim Bunch.
Hey, Alex, thanks so much. And nothing excites me more than when Alex is excited. So it's great to see you passionate and helping rally a lot of people. What Alex is talking about when we talk about the most successful coaching program in personal development, I want to draw a line of delineation for people, because if I were to get in a room with 100 speakers, 100 thought leaders, and ask them how successful their business is, what they would talk about is how many people came through their programs, how many people bought the next level of their programs, and things like that. And that's how they're defining success. But having been around that industry for 20 years, I said, what if we could change the definition of success of the industry of personal development or human transformation to, instead of it being about how many people or how much money the speakers are making, what if we could change it to the performance or success of all the clients? So the shift of focus in being successful in the industry that I want to drive is I want to know, how is Alex doing in his wealth, health, and happiness? How's Tammy doing? How's Bill doing? Elizabeth, Martin? And create one of the first programs that says, let's gamify and track the performance of the clients towards their health goals and towards their wealth goals and towards their happiness goals. So that's really what the Happy, Healthy, Wealthy game was a shift in focus. And to put it in perspective for people, we started taking surveys of tens of thousands of people to find out a couple of things. Number one, how many of you are reaching your goals within 90 days of leaving a live event? And number two, what are the most important areas for you to focus on in your life? Now, those two questions led us to two very important answers. The first one is, when people leave the live events, and take a guess right now, or if you're in the chat, type this in, what percentage of people that go to the seminars, that get excited, that get pumped up, actually achieve their stated goals within 90 days of leaving, like a firewalk or a live event? Any ideas? I know you guys know. All right, this may blow your mind, but based on the surveys that we took, the number of people that actually reached their goals, the goals that they committed to, the goals that they swore to, the goals that they said, I'm going to do whatever I have to hit my health goal or my wealth goal or whatever, is 4%. Now think about that. If it's a 4% success rate, that's a 96% failure rate. Now we'll get to the reason why in a little bit, but those numbers just didn't work for me, especially somebody who was selling people into these programs where there was no tracking, no accountability, no nothing. And you know, God bless the speakers, they were doing their best to share the great content, but there was nothing to support people in getting there. So that was the first answer to the first survey that we took. The second thing I said was, well, you know, you hear about the 7 strategies for this and the 10 steps to this and the 48 keys to whatever, right? And I said, at the end of the day, what do us as humans really want? In other words, how are we defining success? So ask yourself this question: how do you define success? Is success living in a bigger home with a nicer car with wealthier friends? Is success, you know, you having more time to do what you want with the loved ones, or this or that? What are the goals that, if we said, this team right here said, we're going to follow you around with a camera for the next 90 days, a reality TV show. We're going to follow you, Alex and Bill and Tammy and Martin and Elizabeth, in your home, or we're going to follow all of your friends for 90 days with a reality crew. What would the goals be that you're going to go after? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? Do you want to quit eating unhealthy food and start eating organic food? Do you want to eliminate debt? Do you want to start a passive income stream? Do you want to double the size of your existing company? Do you want to invest in real estate? Do you want to start an online business? What are those goals? So we surveyed, again, thousands of people from all across the world, and we asked them, what are your most important goals? If we could wave a magic wand and you could achieve them in 90 days, what would they be? And what we got was thousands of answers. And one of the things I love to do is look at patterns in life and business. So I stood back at these thousands of goals, and I found 3 things in common. These 3 things were the categories in which almost every person's goals fell into. They fell into wealth, and so there are a lot of wealth goals. They fell into health, and they fell into happiness. So when you look at this and you say, what are all of your goals? What would you want to accomplish in the next 90 days? Don't most of them fall into the goals of being happier, being healthier, and being wealthier? So that's how we came up with what Alex referred to as the Happy, Healthy, Wealthy game, or the 90-day challenge. And we call it your trilogy score. Because if you've got the trilogy, which stands for 3, if you've got your happy, healthy, and wealthy, you're pretty much winning at the game of life. And so from there we said, how do we make this a global game? How do we make transforming your life fun? How do we make it accountable? And how do we make it engaging so that you're playing with other people around the world and having an absolute blast, getting into action, leveling up your life, you know, creating wealth, health, and happiness? And how do we see what you really do on a day in and day out basis versus what you think you do? And so that became the 90-day challenge, which grew into all the other programs. So to final cap this, and then Alex, I'll turn it back over to you, I'm super, super excited and inspired because we've had a big vision at the Ultimate Game of Life to partner with companies who want their people to truly win. And when Brian and I and Jonathan and the rest of the team talked about this, it was a perfect fit to say Rippln has an incredible model for people to create a global audience and to create wealth doing what they're already doing. But what if we could add to it the most transformational coaching program on the planet tied to Rippln's incredible social value and monetization strategy? What if we married the two of those together, and now you could play a 90-day challenge where in the wealth category you could level up your game financially while getting in the best shape of your life over 90 days and discovering what truly makes you happy. In other words, designing life based on your core values. So all of that is what we do in the 90-day challenge. It's fun. It's worked for over 12,000 people in 40 countries, and now we hope to have one of our largest games ever with the relationship we have with Rippln. So that's my 10-minute dissertation there, Alex.
I just want you to kind of have an idea of the scope of how big this is, because one of the things Jim didn't talk about necessarily is the percentages of success. Maybe you want to share that hot bath a little bit, Jim. Give them an insight of that hot bath effect, because for those of you that have been like, yeah, you know, I understand that personal development stuff, and it's been somewhat successful, and I like some CDs and books and programs. The reason why the ultimate game of life has been so successful is because it really measures and tracks your success. Give us some of those stats, Jim.
All right. Yeah, so the industry average, I already said, was 4% success, 96% failure. In the ultimate game of life, we have you set 3 goals, okay, for the 90 days. 1 in happy, 1 in healthy, and 1 in wealthy. Now, here's what I can also tell you. Most people have no clue how to set and achieve proper goals. Well, we'll see this in your game. But that's another section. Our average of people setting and achieving their goals is a 78% success rate, from 4% to 78%. The game is actually really simple. Set 3 goals, take 3 actions a day. You got to take 1 action in happiness, 1 in health, and 1 in wealth. Now that sounds really simple. Everybody's like, oh, that's no big deal. But here's what we find. Most people have actually designed a game, this game called life, where they're becoming unhappy, sick, and broke. Look at the results. Look at the results that people are producing in their 9 environments, okay? And we'll talk more about that too. But most people are a series of repetitive habits and patterns day in and day out. How many of you get up and every day you do almost the same thing? You plan your day the same way or you don't. You take actions towards the things you should be or you don't. You communicate with the same people over and over again, or the people that you should be communicating with, you're not. So when we take a look, and this is why I said the reality TV show, is we're going to go shoulder to shoulder with you. We're going to go back to back with you, belly to belly for 90 days. And this isn't one of those things where you come to some webinar, we dump a bunch of information, and that's it. There's tons of content out there, and we've got great content to teach you great things. But what's more important, as Alex is talking about here, is that we focus on taking those actions and tracking those actions in our online scorecard every day. And Alex, you don't know this, Tammy, all of you guys, Elizabeth, I've not shared this with you, but we have just re-architected the whole structure for the 90-day challenge in light of what we're doing with Rippln. And what I'm talking about specifically is that we've changed the points inside the game and the prizes inside the game. We've changed everything to where it goes back to a really simple but powerful model. If you remember back to the early days, Alex, what we used to have people do was they'd set 3 goals, and then they'd fill in their scorecard with their habits and actions in happy, healthy, wealthy. And then we would say, you will get points if you commit to 3 actions the night before. So let's say that it's Monday night, and I'm getting ready for Tuesday. I'm going to invest 60 seconds to 2 minutes deciding on Monday night, what are the 3 actions I'm going to take on Tuesday that move me ahead in my game the most? So it literally takes 60 seconds to 2 minutes once you set it up. If you log that into our scorecard now, you qualify not only for the 3 points that you get for taking the 3 actions, we've put an accelerator bonus on. So if you commit the night before to 3 actions, and then you take those 3 actions and log it in, you're getting a 3x accelerator bonus of all the points that you did for that day. So we've gamified this. We've put leaderboards in place. We've put prizes in place. And for those of you who are in Rippln, your engagement in this game is going to be tied to your MVP status. Now let me pause the ultimate game of life for a second and talk about the MVP status, because we want to make sure that everybody that's playing this game is fully engaged for 90 days. The reason why is, if I can get you to take 3 actions a day, 1 in happiness, 1 in health, and 1 in wealth for 90 days, imagine what's going to happen to your mental and emotional state where you're in this massive state of momentum. Imagine what's going to happen to your health when you're taking actions every day. Imagine what's going to happen to the size of your Ripple and your checks when every day you're looking at your player's card and you're seeing the actions that you most need to take. And imagine when everybody around you is in this massive state of momentum in our lives and businesses. That's what we're going to create. Well, Brian and I talked about this, and we said, how do we make sure that not only is the ultimate game incentivizing people, but how do we make sure that Rippln is incentivizing people? And we came up with 2 things. Number 1 is called the MVP bonus. So for everybody who joins the 90-day challenge and purchases through Ripple, you're going to get a great discount on the investment, but you're also going to get a full year of MVP. That means that you're earning double commissions on the loyalty rewards and the coaching rewards for 12 months straight. All right? That's a big deal, okay? To make
just to put that in context, you guys that are watching this right, I was like peering in on your faces. That's a big deal, you guys. Anyway, sorry, Jim, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's a huge deal, huge.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a numbers person, like I know Tammy's already crunching the numbers on this thing 100 times, right? But if you're a numbers person, just investing in the 90-day challenge alone is going to more than pay back for itself if you're doing any kind of volume in the Ripple. And when I mean any kind, I mean like hardly any in order for you to get your return on investment back. So the first thing was the MVP bonus, and that's huge. The second thing, and I can't give you the details on this, but I can tell you this. When the information was sent over to me about the prizes, because Rippln has prizes and the Ultimate Game, or what we call TUG, has prizes. So there's 2 sets of prizes. But when I saw the Rippln prizes that came through, I immediately called Jonathan and Brian and I said, hey, is this a misprint? Like I literally went, hold on a second, guys. Where's the funds coming for this? Because the size of the prizes is huge. I mean, it is massive. And what Rippln said was, we want to incentivize the Ripplers who are driving people into the game. So Rippln built their own bonus prizes that are massive prizes, really cool. I showed my wife to him, and she's like, oh, we're going to win something. And I called Brian, I go, can I play? He goes, yeah. Because they're incentivizing us to drive more people in, because they know that when we have our Ripplers in the 90-day challenge, it's going to exponentially grow our business. So they said, look, it's a no-brainer. It makes perfect sense. So I can't spill the beans, because Jonathan has actually been putting together a whole video on the prizes for the people who bring the most people into the 90-day challenge. But it's going to be really fun. And there's one other piece I can't announce yet, because Brian and I talked about it, but I don't know if it's been authorized, but a way for everybody to be able to win. So there's some things that are happening there. In addition to that, the Ultimate Game has prizes that we do for people who are staying engaged in the game, who are winning, who are leading. And I'm not going to share with you what those prizes are. I will share with you this. The number one thing you'll get out of this game is your life will transform. And I know for a fact a lot of programs have made that promise. But what many people don't know is these same speakers that I've been friends with, that I've shared stages with, from the best of the best in the world, have been calling our company the Ultimate Game, because the marketplace is now aware to ask for more from their coaching. They're aware to ask for more from their personal development trainers. They're calling us and asking us if we will private label or partner with them. I've had 3 phone calls in the last 2 weeks from major speakers who have said, I understand that we need to either partner with you guys or we need to have you build for us what you've built in the Ultimate Game. Because as soon as you as consumers start to recognize that you no longer want to spend money on programs that offer things but don't deliver, now we can change the whole industry. And that's always been my goal, whether it's in the real estate industry, the personal development industry, or now in the technology industry. I look for ways that we can change the way that industries are working if they're not efficient. And that's what's been true of the personal development industry, and we're going to shift that. So I'm super excited to have you guys play. And in a few minutes, Alex, when the time is right, I want to hear from all of you guys, even if you're not crystal clear. I want to hear what your goals are going to be in the 90-day challenge, either in wealth, health, or happiness, because we'll all get to know each other. We'll all be supporting each other in achieving these goals, and we'll hold each other to the highest standards, because we're not the leaders who tell you guys you should just go join this game. We're the leaders that are in the game, setting our own goals and helping each other achieve those goals. So we're not just leading the game, we're playing the game with you guys.
All right, so any last words before we wrap up? I know we're kind of well over time here, but Tam, anything you want to share real quick? All right, Jim, bring us out.
I would just say thanks to each of you guys for showing up and for playing full out in your own lives, and for basically being a witness to other people who are saying, can I do this? You know, Bill, you brought up a piece around confidence, and the number one job of a coach is to instill confidence in the client until the client can hold that on their own. And what happens is a lot of people, you know, they've lost hope. They've got a lot of things going on in their life that they're not sure how to deal with. They oftentimes feel like they've got more people around them, but yet they're more alone than they've ever been before. They feel like they've been working harder for less, and they're not sure if they're on the right track for their lives. That's not everybody, of course, but a lot of people are in that place where they need someone to just give them an opportunity to transform the way they think, the way they feel, and the way that they act. And so it's my honor, my privilege, and my duty to make sure that if you say yes, we're here as a community, as a team, to support you, because no one person can change your life. That's your decision. But we have created an ultimate environment with live, fun, interactive webinars where we have music and dancing and like crazy, stupid stuff you would never normally do, but it changes the way that you feel and think. You know, we have accountability partners that you are going to build lifelong relationships. My mom came through our 90-day challenge over a decade ago. She and her accountability partner are still connecting and friends to this day. That was over a decade ago. So you'll build amazing relationships with people who are positive, who are inspiring, who are taking daily action to improve their lives. And the number one most important thing to understand is all you have to do is get clear on what you want, make a decision, and take action. We call it the CDA formula. If you get clear on what you truly want, and I know some of you have forgotten what you want, we'll help you with that. But if you make decisions, decision means to cut off all other options. If you make a decision that you're going to achieve wealth in 90 days, failure is not an option. If you make a decision that you're going to improve your energy, that you're going to get in the best shape of your life, that you're going to reach your potential in health, failure is not an option. If you make a decision to discover your core values, to get clear on your purpose in life, and that nothing else will get in the way, you will achieve it. And that's what we're here to do, is to train you, to retrain you to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. And we'll see what shows up in your game. The last piece is this. The game is always on. From this moment forward, every thought that you have, every feeling that you have, every hurdle that you have to jump over, every magical opportunity that comes into your life is all part of your game. And whether you realize it or not, you're in the game of life, because if you can fog a mirror, if you're still on this planet, you still have a body, and you have a mind, you're in the game. The question is, do you think you can play a bigger game? Can you have more fun? Can you create better health? And can you finally, as Elizabeth talked about, create true freedom, time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, and emotional freedom that will bring you to a whole nother level? We know that you can. You just got to make a decision. So thanks for putting this together, Alex. It's my opportunity and my pleasure to serve, and I'm super excited to support you guys with all of the years of wisdom and tools that we have to help people level up. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the playing field.